What is going on, everybody? This is Debunked by Aaron PFP. We are back with long form YouTube, and we are definitely going to be talking about the stuff for Jump Festa. I did want to give everything its own dedicated video. A lot of the stuff that came out definitely does deserve it, especially when it comes to Jujutsu Kaisen and the other stuff we're going to be talking about in this video. But I just don't have the time to make separate videos for everything. We have this content for what was today. We also have a really high profile episode of Bleach that is probably going to be the best looking episode of the entire franchise, as well as the fact that I'm going to probably react to it and do my own separate breakdown for that episode as well. And we also have what is likely going to be a Chainsaw Man trailer today. So I don't really have the time to cover everything in their own dedicated video, but that's okay. We are going to be covering the stuff that's here, that we have so far. Mainly the things I'm interested in. Most of the stuff is mostly going to be MAPPA related stuff. And there's going to be some other things in here. But yeah, starting off, we have the new Hidden Inventory movie poster, or key visual. The Hidden Inventory movie seems to be coming out in around June of next year, which is pretty interesting. This isn't going to be new content. This is just going to be all of Hidden Inventory just packaged and thrown into a movie, similar to what we see with like Demon Slayer taking the last couple episodes of an arc and just putting it in theaters and rebranding that as a movie, right? This should be extremely successful because, you know, everybody loves JJK. So it's pretty nice. The hidden inventory key visual that we have here, it's not as good as we saw previously with the other hidden inventory, but it's obviously better than the Shibuya one. So, you know, it's fine. But that is not all we have here. Because what we have, if we can find it, is the new Culling Games key visual. This is the best key visual I've probably ever seen for like a high profile anime. Like, I've never seen something like this before. This is just incredible. The stained hands for the blood on Yuji's hands, the really raw drawing, and Yuji isolated here because he can't be around his friends anymore. It's all just so perfect. There's so much meaning packed into here, and it's really nice. Shota Goshizono just doesn't hold back with anything, even on like the worst produced episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. It was always interesting. There was always something interesting about the visuals, and that was just a bar that Shota Goshizono kept. And I also think what's interesting about this is there's no statement that Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3 is coming out in 2025 either. And I think that's interesting, because it's likely going to come out in early 2026. I think we have a real possibility, especially based off of what I've been hearing about Chainsaw Man's movie. They share a production line. So it's really interesting. Hopefully it means that they have a much better schedule, even if the schedule is still rough. Hopefully they have a much better schedule, because the longer that Goso vision that we saw from Hidden Inventory stretches over to through the next season, the better the next season is going to be. So yeah, we have two new key visuals. This is the best key visual I've ever seen for a high profile anime. I don't think many things could top it. This is just incredible work. So let's get into the next thing. Now, here's something I didn't expect, really. A full-on Hell's Paradise trailer. Now, I knew we were going to get something for Hell's Paradise, because I was under the impression that... Oopsies. I was under the impression that Hell's Paradise was going to air in 2025. Ass shot. Considering the fact that Hell's Paradise just had a really bad schedule. And honestly, if we're being completely honest, Hell's Paradise is the worst looking studio mapper project, period. There's not a single studio mapper project that broke apart as badly as Hell's Paradise, as consistently as Hell's Paradise did from the very beginning. Even Attack on Titan Season 4, Part 1, was not as broken as Hell's Paradise. It just didn't look good. It didn't look good at all. It didn't move good at all, for the most part. You had a couple cuts here and there, but it didn't really look that good. And even the talent they did get, a lot of which did come from Attack on Titan Season 4, couldn't really flex to their full capabilities, like Jun Shishido and Teruki Yamane, they couldn't really flex to their full potential. One, because the staff did not have the schedule to flex like that, and the other reason was because they were main components in Attack on Titan the final season. But with Attack on Titan over, that frees incredibly talented artists to be capable of potentially working on Hell's Paradise. And with it not coming out until 2026, they could definitely have at least a fair bit of time to cook. But not just that, we also have some staff changes. Specifically with the art director. Junichi Higashi is the new art director for Hell's Paradise, which is really interesting because this is the same art director behind Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 and Dandadan. Two shows that have extremely good art direction. Mostly JJK, when the schedule didn't completely collapse in on itself, the art direction was really good. And Dandadan had pretty consistent art direction from start to finish. So the fact that you'd have somebody that talented for a show like Hell's Paradise, especially when Hell's Paradise definitely relies on a lot of art. I've read some of the manga, really strong art, really good backgrounds. It definitely can elevate the source material of Hell's Paradise. Now, from what we've seen, there's also some pretty strong cuts in this trailer. I get it, the trailer's probably pre-animated. If they're in production, I doubt that they're that far in it. So I think this is probably pre-animated. But still, I do believe this should be a lot more consistent than Season 1 of Hell's Paradise. And I do believe the staff could have a lot more talent on and be capable of flexing a lot more than they could on Season 1. So it won't be nearly as bad as what Season 1 had when they were in the mud. Even the trailer itself has pretty consistent character designs, which just wasn't found for the most part of Hell's Paradise. So that was something that's pretty interesting, and I will definitely be checking out Hell's Paradise Season 2 when it comes out, especially since I'm pretty much a known Hell's Paradise hater, even before the show came out. A lot of people were on me calling me a Hell's Paradise hater. Now the last thing, I'm so glad that this page had them right on top of each other. Sakamoto Days, very, very interesting. Sakamoto Days is something that a lot of people have been anticipating, and it's going to come out next month, actually. And we do have a new trailer for Sakamoto Days, but spoiler warning, it's just okay. Now, you obviously weren't going to expect a Sakuga Fest like Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. You are not going to get that level of stuff on something like Sakamoto Days. But even so, for a manga, a source material that is pretty heavily reliant on action like this, the fact that we don't really have an indication that the action animation is going to be anything special, I can imagine would hurt manga fans, if that makes sense. Because, like, oftentimes when you have something like this, where the manga art is so strong, you can definitely imagine how you'd want that to be animated, right? Like, a lot of people wanted it to have Jujutsu Kaisen level animation, even though it wasn't possible. A lot of people wanted that level of animation, even though they didn't want MAPPA, which is totally understandable. MAPPA doesn't need to be doing everything, but still, it does have a nice aesthetic. I think it looks nice. The art style does look nice. I don't really have a problem with how it looks. But again, when you have something like this that's so reliant on action, and the action is just mostly limited animation, again, I can imagine why people would be disappointed. So Hell's Paradise definitely blew me away, and Sakamoto Days kind of stayed within my expectations. I didn't really expect it to do anything crazy. And I've said this multiple times, that it just wasn't going to be as crazy as a lot of people wanted it to be. That doesn't mean it's going to be dog water. That doesn't mean it's going to be like Blue Lock Season 2, but still. You guys have to keep your expectations tame, because not everything can get like the God tier level adaptation that you want it to, no matter how much you want it to, right? So, that's, oopsies. So, with that, with Sakamoto Days, that pretty much covers a lot of the stuff I wanted to cover. Once again, I literally can't cover everything that happened during Jump Festa, considering the fact that we have a really high profile episode of Bleach that's coming out, and we have a really we have Ranma coming out, and then we likely have the Chainsaw Man trailer coming out, which I'm definitely going to talk about. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut this like video short. But if you like this kind of stuff, if you like this kind of commentary where I go over the stuff, explain a little bit about the staff and the behind the scenes of certain productions and my predictions for these, definitely make sure to leave a like, make sure to leave a subscribe, and ring that notification bell as well so you can get caught up whenever I post, because I definitely want to post more often. I really haven't posted long form all year, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself about that. So I definitely want to change that in 2025. But that's it for me for now. You're definitely going to see me more today. You guys have a fantastic day. I'm going to peace out.